I'm not going to say a single word about the Tennessee Titans record against the Indianapolis Colts because I was a punter, and there's no reason for me to talk about that. With that being said, we did not punt much against the Tennessee Titans, so you probably have no clue who I am to begin.
Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper. So hot, you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff, then I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit him right in the chest. It be looking like magic. Better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone. Eating up these pig skins like they chicharrones. And you a douche cabron. Mira, mira at the mirror on the wall. I'm the greatest of them all. They gon' put me in the hall. Your name is only written in a bathroom stall. Quit your stalling and make a play. My drive too long. Pop the clutch, I don't pump the brakes. I know what it takes to gain the muscle, get rugged. These butterfingers be fumbling, squash the scrimmage and rub it in Robitussin. How I give them concussion, they see in double, they rushing and pass the shovel, the dirt and rubble, I bury them under it. Stay in your huddle and get 10 yards back, never turn your back. I'ma pull your flag, I go full contact, out punch, out kick like a shotgun.
Welcome back, people. I don't know if y'all know, but it's just like it feels good. It feels glorious, okay? I don't know what holidays you celebrate, but it's starting to feel real good in this holiday season. And I especially like it when, the Colts give us early gifts. But you know what? Before we go any further, before we get into that, welcome back to the HorseShoe Mob Podcast, where we talk about everything Colts. And today is an extra slanderous day. But you know what? We're going to get into that later on, okay? And you know what? Before we get into the guys, make sure visiting www.fanbattlesports.com, where we have everything Colts related, whether it be podcasts, you'll see our bios, you see articles. Basically, you get everything that's coming from us so you can stay in the know, and then we can go ahead and make sure that you're getting to know us a little bit better. And you know what? Without further ado, once again, let's get into the guys, all right? So, we have with us a certain silent assassin, the man who I'm going to say he's the bane of certain other fan bases' existence, right? So we have with us, and don't let the name fool you, okay? He's a maniac, okay? We have with us Austin Cook, everybody.
Yep, what's up? I'm Austin.
Yep, see maniac behavior. All right, and then we have with us the man in the horseshoe polo. I actually like that. I appreciate that, by the way, Josh.
That is nice.
Yeah, that's dope. Like that's something.
I'm trying to be more formal, man. I'm trying to get up to where you guys at, man. I'm trying to be nice. I'm turning on a new leaf.
Hey, I get it. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up. I get it. But yeah, we have with us Josh Senior. Everybody,
what's good, everybody? I'm back. I missed the episode, but I'm back. I'm ready. It's the right episode to be back on. Let's get the Titans.
and we also have our good friend, our brother. We'd had to retire certain names because certain things don't fit the same way. But you know what? We're just gonna go with that for right now. But we have with us Harish Nukal, everybody.
The only thing that is happening in my life right now is winning, and I love it.
I love it. I love that. I freaking love that. Okay. And I'm Chris Jackson, so yeah, we'll get that out the way. All right. But yeah, we have Daniel Sterner McMullen say, let's effing go. Absolutely. Appreciate you, Daniel. Then we have Brandon Spearman. Tighten down culture or hashtag culture. Love it. We're starting off on a good note. And you know what? Before we get into the game, before we get into all that, can we really just go ahead and just highlight that Zaire Franklin gets Walter Payton Man of the Year? I think he's running for it.
He's a finalist.
He's a finalist.
Let's not give fake news here, Chris Jackson.
I'm not doing the fake news thing. I promise. Okay, I'm not giving alternative facts. I'm telling you, no alternative facts over here.
He won it for the Colts. He had a press conference today, so he did win it.
He did. Okay. Well, so I think he's the representative for. Yeah, he's the Colts representative.
Yeah.
So and then of course they'll do everything like ESPN honors and all that stuff, like where they announce who will win. But tremendous. I mean, as far as what he does in the community, I mean, as far as like how he's done, really like I think Zaire Franklin, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I love Leonard, but I think he's really just become that guy for us that Leonard was previously, because Leonard was the guy who was just like in the community, doing all these different things, making sure that he was, I'm going to say, present. And then Zaire's become that in, like the last year and a half or so. And it's awesome to see, especially, you see his impact on the field. Now you see his impact off the field. So it's awesome. So definitely great to see Zaire Franklin getting recognition. Madden doing some good, leading the league in tackles. Still got him at like an 84. Just saying.
Nice.
But
I'll give him like a +1 tomorrow. 85.
+1.
+1.
Trash.
Do you not know how Madden rankings work? Bro, Chad Ochocinco does Madden rankings. We'd be lucky if a Colt got +half.
Yeah, Brock Purdy got a superstar development because he's a great game manager. Get out of my face. All right. And then Wayne McAllister says Big Grover is back. Run defense is about to get a lot better. I'm glad that you say that. Because we just played a game where we saw that, this game really was it was a tough one, right? Now the thing is, the storyline is, the Titans aren't doing good. This could be a rebound game for them. The story for the Colts was that, it's just like you win this game, things start to happen. You start to see differences when it comes down to those division rankings. Mind you, after this weekend, Colts are still second in division, but now one game back. But we're not going to get into why. We're going to get into this Colts versus Titans game because it's a division rivalry, right? And the only reason why we're talking about it being a division rivalry is because we haven't beaten the Titans, we hadn't beaten them in like 5 games.
Yeah, I think we won
5-1
somewhere.
Yeah, we won. So we won 1 the year with Phillip Rivers, but then we lost the next one. We lost 2 with Carson Wentz. We lost 2 with Matt Ryan, and then this year we swept, right? And I put emphasis on swept because we swept them.
That means they didn't win any in case they don't stay. They don't,
0.
In case they don't.
We played them twice.
Yeah,
they won none.
Yeah.
All right. So
0 is greater than 2 is greater than 0. I know they don't teach math in Tennessee. I just want to help them out.
They don't.
Except for Austin, he learned it.
Yeah, So the problem is that in Tennessee public schools, their metric system is based solely on Mayo measurements. So it's just like, yes, you're scooping Mayo, and they're just like,
we do have a guy that's living it.
Well. So the thing is, for Austin is the exception. Austin saw how things were going, and he said, "I'm just going to have to educate myself because these Mayo marauders are just out here just doing God knows what."
You know how like your grandparents used to tell you how they walked like for millions of miles to go to school. Yeah. Austin walked to Kentucky to go to school.
Yes, exactly. There you go. See, I knew there was something about you, mainly because of the fact
you silently walked there.
Exactly, mainly because you don't like Mayo and you don't kiss your siblings. So it's just like like I said, I know that those are 2 things that are frowned upon by you, Austin, and not by the others that are in Tennessee. But we're getting this off. We're getting off on a really, really bad note. And it's only going to get worse from here, people. So I'm just going to let you know right now. It's just like whatever you thought was going to happen, it's going to happen because Tennessee fans have been extremely feral recently, and they're not taking this loss well. They're not doing well because you tell them that they lost, and they're talking about, well, what about this and what? It's just like, no. And you know what? And also, let me just address something too, right? Because I was told that Colts fans just are bad after losses because there was a certain person on Twitter who roots for the Colts who, somebody posted something about AR's injury. I get it. Some Titans fans don't have class. But then he posted a picture of Steve McNair's headstone. And I'm going to go out right now, and I'm going to say, and like I said, I know that the fellas, we're all 100% in agreement, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. That's unacceptable. It never will be acceptable. It never will be something that you should do, because no matter what, we should be able to keep it sports. We should always be able to keep it sports, and some people don't. But the thing is, for that, Colts fan or not, that was trash. And that absolutely should not have been done. That shouldn't have been said. You know, like I said, you don't play with injury, you don't play with death. That's no, absolutely not. So
that's not how we roll.
let's just get that out the way, because
we don't do that.
we don't do that. And like I said, if anybody from this fan base does do that, they're not representative of everybody, because we for damn sure don't. So we can go ahead and make sure that people understand and people know that, you know, there's this is sports, and that's what it is. And if you're doing anything else other than that, you're a coward, you're a punk, and dare I say, you're a bitch. So, yeah. So let's just go from there. So yeah, but then moving back and pivoting back. So Titans fans haven't been able to really cope with this loss the way that you would hope that they were going to. And I mean, for good reason, because I mean, this is the same Titans fan base that was comparing Ryan Tannehill to Pat Mahomes a few years back.
Right.
Even though we told them that it literally was just because Derrick Henry was just having a fantastic year and teams were stacking the box to try to stop him because we knew that he was the focal point of the offense. But then they said that Ryan Tannehill had to throw it out there. It's just like, it's easy to throw to 4 wide receivers when you only got 3 people in the secondary. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. But yeah, so I'm going to say we can go ahead and go into more analysis of this game. So, I mean, I'm going to say, Josh, get us started, because like I said, this game was very, very topsy-turvy, to say the least.
Boy, I'm glad you said go ahead, go first, because I was ready. I got that. I mean, you know, let's start out. We did sweep them boys going in. Titans fans were high on it. It's like if there's any game that we can win in our last remaining schedule, Colts would be the one that we beat. And they were thinking that it could be a trap game for us, and it could have been. But we went to the game. You know, the games are won within those lines, and they started out hot. They got the ball, and they went on the field pretty quick and easy. I was a little worried with that. Then we answered, so I was like, okay, it's gonna be a dog fight like it usually are. Then Mayo Levis happened. The guy that we talked about all week, it was supposed to be better than AR. You know, a certain fan left out the QBR on purpose. The guy ended with a QBR of 27 against us. He got sacked 6 times. He completed only 48% of his passes. The guy that they said that's supposed to be their savior, the guy that they praise against the Falcons when they wore their Oilers jerseys, that guy. But he played terrible since then. And it was like they kept praising him. But in the game the game they should have been, the game that he should have been playing lights out like against the Falcons. He played poorly, extremely poorly against us. We kept like you said. Before we got into the show, you said how their offense is predicated on running the ball and throwing the ball to D-Hops. That's what they did. D-Hops didn't have a great game, but he had a decent game compared to the game he had against us. Week 4, week 5. They played. I mean, we talked about Darrell Baker. Darrell Baker redeemed himself in that game.
He didn't redeem himself. He played a
kind of, sort of. So I'll just say I wouldn't give him flowers. He played a lot better than he did in the previous weeks.
That's okay.
Yeah, I give him that.
Well, I think the other thing was Brent's primarily played on Hopkins, and this time I think they had a mixture of like Jones and
everybody pretty much.
Yeah. So, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, D-Hops didn't really impact the game, but he did. I mean, he had his nice 5 yards, four something a carry.
He had 5 for 75.
Yeah.
In the first half?
No. No. You're talking about Derrick Henry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah. No, in the first half, I think he had like 17, 18 carries in the first half.
Yeah.
Right, 4 or something, but he ended up with 21 and 102. Which is, for us, is good. I mean, then you see the rookie mistakes from the quarterback. I saw a lot of passes he threw to the ground, a lot of passes he threw over. He overshot a couple of D-Hop pass attempts. It just felt like the game was more so in our hands. We just had to capitalize on our mistakes. We got 2 block punts. That's the first. We're the first team since 2020 to do that. One going for a touchdown. The other one we only got 3 points on. So we got to do better in that aspect. But you see a complete game: defense, offense, special teams. We had control, even though they controlled the line of scrimmage on their defense, getting to and stopping the run, whatnot. We still play well enough to put ourselves in position to win that game. As you can see at the end of the game, that long pass to Alec Pierce to the 2-yard line, and then you got our receiver 1, Harish, win the game for us. That's all I got.
Yes. It's funny that you mentioned Harish because I want to go to you, Harish. How gratifying is it seeing Michael Pittman just do what he's been doing? I'm going to say back-to-back weeks, just kind of in the summation of a season. Because honestly, it's just like he has one more game like this. He's going to be over 1,000 for the season, and he'll be over 1,000 for the season with 4 games left.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we want. Like, this is what we've wanted. Mm-hmm. This is what a number 1 receiver should do.
Michael Pittman had a couple.
Michael Pittman had
no workman's comp, sir. So I need you to calm down.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to continue to need Michael Pittman to have these types of games, 10 receptions. He's going to be the number 1 target because it's just what Gardner Minshew's frankly he's just comfortable with. Alec Pierce is interesting too. I thought Alec Pierce played really well this game. 3 receptions, 100 yards, 3 huge receptions, right?
Yeah,
I did miss I did miss all of overtime because I had to leave to go take care or something, but I saw it later on. But the run game was a concern for me. The run defense was a concern for me last week. Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry, right? He's going to get his. But for the most part this year, Derrick Henry hasn't really had this type of performance. And it was concerning that not only Derrick Henry, but Tajay Spears had actually almost averaged 5 yards a carry as a whole. And it's, at the end of the game, the scoreboard doesn't show how effective their run game was. But I do think that there was a lot of missed opportunity by this run defense. Having Grove next week back is going to help a lot. Yeah. But I thought that was something that was a concern. Yeah.
Yeah. So and on top of that, just to kind of put it in perspective, so Derrick Henry, 21 rushes for 102 yards. Tajay Spears, 16 carries for 75 yards. They combined for 4.8 yards per carry.
Right.
So
I mean, yeah, it was a tough one, but
obviously Spears happened more so when Henry got out.
I mean, it's a change of pace, right?
Right.
Because the thing is, it's just like when you get used to having to deal with Henry, you have to play him a certain way, right? But then Tajay Spears comes in, who's a smaller guy, who's a faster guy that is moving differently. So now it's just like it's kind of like that smash and dash where it's just like literally like Derrick Henry is going up, being physical, making people go to the point of contact, tiring them out, and then the Spears is able to come in and just kind of do what he wants to because he has the speed to be able to get around these guys that have had to deal with Henry for the last God knows how long.
Yeah.
But Austin, and we, like I said, we saw like the offense, we saw the defense, but I think it's an understatement that special teams was absolutely just like on fire.
Yeah.
And Titans fans said that it was illegal. The way that because the thing is he said that so there was a Titans fan that said he should have been called for a flag because you're not supposed to run directly into the punter. Now, mind you, looking at the official rules, you can't run into the punter unless the ball is already in a kicking motion, in which case when it was blocked, it's coming off of his foot, which means that you're initiating. Also, it's incidental to run into him. So basically, it just means that if he had already kicked the ball off, the ball's already in the air, and Tony Brown ran in there like that, that's a penalty. But Tony Brown, as a matter of fact, both times, he literally, or the ball was blocked on both of them, and there was contact, but the contact is able to be had by the defender that's blocking the ball.
Was this against the first or the second kick?
This is both of them actually, because the
I
first
think
one
they had a bigger problem with the second one where he got hurt.
Yeah.
And
I thought in that one though, and the other thing is once the ball is touched, even on the block and the initiation of the block, what happens to the punter is irrelevant. You could run him over at that point if you want to, because it's now a live ball. So once contact is made with the ball, you can do whatever the hell you want with them.
Yeah. So Austin, like, because special teams, like, we haven't seen a special teams like that since we lost Bubba Ventrone last year. So I'm gonna say, just like, how big of a role were they when it came down to how this game came out?
I mean, it was huge because whenever the first block, we were losing and we scored a touchdown off of that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it shifted the momentum and we played much better after that. And then the second one, obviously we didn't score, but just getting that close to the end zone is always, a plus no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Mason showed he's been working with them. The Tony Brown one, he came from where he would be blocking the outside guy and just timed it perfectly. I don't know if they practiced that or if they had something on Stonehouse where they knew when he was going to get the snap. But, he timed it perfectly. And the Nick Cross block, he cut into the middle. And it was just, both of them were really good. Obviously, a block punt is good for your team. It's going to lead usually to points no matter what.
Yeah. And Wayne says,
I do want to add too. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, and then Wayne says the punter didn't get the ball up. Brown knocked the ball down, so it was a block punt, or it wasn't a block punt. It was ruled a fumble. Okay, and that's fair. All right. So go ahead, Josh. What are you saying?
This to our guy, our group expert, Jacoby Covington. He said the only reason we won that game because of special teams. So we only got 10 points on special team, but the other points came from where?
Okay, so let me just go. So the thing is, remember when we talked about earlier how Titans fans were really right now, how they were like really suffering. Yeah. This is what they do, because the thing is, let them had won by a field goal, right? Mm-hmm. The narrative changes, and the thing is, we know the Titans fans are all about narratives. So we know that no matter what happens, they're going to sit there and they're going to say whatever they need to in order to cope. And I told them, you may not like, well, in the words of Macho Man Randy Savage, you may not like it, but you have to accept it. Like, that's what he says, because that's what you have to do. Now, the thing is also, I think it's probably just a much harder pill to swallow for Titans fans, because not only was this a loss to the Colts after losing to the Colts earlier in the season, but this essentially killed their season. They can string off 5 wins in a row right now. And the Jags, Colts, and Texans would have to absolutely collapse in that same time period in order for them to win the division. But the thing is, losing in a game like this, knowing how much trash you talk, knowing exactly what you're saying, knowing that you thought that this was going to be an easy layup, knowing that this has to be something that has to be done, and they lose it. And they lose it in the fashion that they did. Like, you know exactly what it was. Because the thing is, let's just talk about accountability, right? Gardner Minshew, 26 for 42, 312 yards, 2 TDs. Now, if you look at that game, the stats say that he had a pretty good game. The eye test says man's almost gave the game away.
Multiple times.
Yes, the fumble at the goal line.
So if we're being honest, we can't keep on moving goalposts when it comes down to it, because Titans fans saw Gardner Minshew out there the same way that we did, and they saw that they had those opportunities. But you know what? This is also the Gardner Minshew that had what? He had nine more throws than Will Levis and completed what? I think he completed 10. He completed 10 more, or he had 10 more completions than Will Levis on 9 less throws. Or 9 more throws. Sorry about that. So, I mean, if we're talking about math, then it's just like you can't look at that, because if we're being honest, Will Levis could have played better, but you're going to use him being a rookie as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be an excuse, which is all the more reason why with Titans fans reeling right now, it gives me joy. It gives me happiness. Because you know what? At the end of the day, this is the same Titans fan base that said, I don't know what's going to happen with this team. I don't know what we're going to do. And then got D-Hop and proceeded to say, oh, man, that puts us over the top. How? Is he going to play wide receiver, O-lineman, and corner? Because we knew that secondary was trash. You knew that the wide receiver core was trash. They said, oh, Traylon Burks is due for a great year. How many yards he got this year?
They say he's supposed to have Jacoby, one of them, said he's going to have 800 receiving yards and about 6 to 8 touchdowns. The guy got 122 receiving yards and no touchdowns.
So he's going to have 120 yards in every single game for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, bullshit. So we're going to a snap count. Ain't that much snap count in the world? Ain't that much snap count in the world? Like, let's be completely honest. Like, the thing is, everybody except certain Titans fans knew that this roster was going to be bad. Now, the thing is also, they still had Vrabel, so they had some hope. But now it's Vrabel's fault. Even though Vrabel was the same coach that just 2 years ago was coaching a team to 12-5, and everybody loved him because they had the most injuries in the league. And then the following year, they went 7-10 because they had the most injuries in the league.
They sure turned on Vrabel quick, didn't they?
Oh, they turned on immediately. Even though Tim Kelly is completely trash. And they know Tim Kelly's completely trash because Tim Kelly is the author of the D-Hops is out there somewhere Olympics, where they're just like, just throw it out there. He'll be there. No, he won't.
Yeah.
No, he won't.
Kelly really thought he was getting A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened.
Another thing I ran into, guys, is that they saying that the play where Zaire Franklin knocked Derrick Henry out, it was a dirty hit. It was a helmet to helmet. I was like, no, it was not. He didn't hit him in the helmet. He hit his shoulder. He landed on his head.
Yeah. So this is also the same fan base that said when Derrick Henry had that run, I think it was last year or the year before last, when he had that run, when Derrick Henry basically just like bowled Darius. I'm calling Darius Leonard. I don't care. But when he bowled Darius Leonard over with his helmet down, and Darius Leonard tried to tackle him, which looked like a helmet to helmet there, they said, "Oh, look!" And then they proceeded to go ahead and play that replay. You want to know why they did that? They did that because they won. Now they're saying it's a dirty hit because they lost. Like, cry me a river. Okay? How about that? Cry me a river. I don't care about your sorrow. I don't care about what you said, because you guys have been very, very big on your britches for the last few years. And now, when you're rebuilding, when you're 4-8, because we were 4-8 last year. And yet it's just like, oh, we were trash. We were ass. We were bad. Yeah, we know
what we said. Yeah, we said it.
And we said on the podcast prior.
We were hoping to be bad.
Yeah, we said it prior to the season. We said, listen, we'll get 6 wins. We said ceiling. We said ceiling for this team would potentially be 10 wins, possibly. We passed the floor.
Right.
But we still got 5 games to go. So barring a major collapse, this team is potentially going to possibly be able to reach that 10 wins. And so, you know what, with that being said, go ahead, Harish.
I had my ceiling at 6, so this team is already this season's already a success.
Yeah,
everything is icing. Absolutely. Everything is icing on the cake at this point.
Yeah, but you know, and that's the reason why, like, looking at how this season turned out, right? I think it's not just about the fact that it's just like successful on paper or successful the way that it is right now, because we're already 3 wins over where we were last year with games left to go. But also, you have to look at it like this. We did this without 5 games now without Jonathan Taylor. We're also without our starting quarterback. We've also been without certain pieces. We've been without Brents. We've been without I think
Grover.
or we've been without Grover. Like we
There's
had 6 games without Grover. Leonard isn't here anymore. And even when we had Leonard who was maybe playing at 60 to 70% of where he's normally at. And we've had to deal with this and still 7-5.
And 4 receivers.
Yeah, with 4 receivers.
Most of 3.5, actually. Actually, you got 2.5 because you have Josh Downs, Michael Pittman.
But I'm saying in the beginning of the season, we have in the beginning of the season, they on the schedule, remember how they said how we look, we don't know what was going on. But every game we had 4 receivers.
Yeah.
True. So, and then he said, if Franklin's hit was helmet to helmet, Henry will be on concussion protocol this week from the spotters in the league. Henry isn't in concussion protocol, which is also very true. And then Ron says, Titan season died last Sunday at our hands, and I loved it, and they can't accept it. It hurts. Good.
Perfect.
Good. Because guess what?
Big Brother's back, baby.
This is a fan base that doesn't deserve to have the benefit of the doubt when it comes to any of that, because they had a taste of success and they didn't know how to do it. Now they're getting back to being the regular schmegulars that they normally are, and they don't know what to do. They can't accept it. But you know what? It's not up to us. It's not up to us. But you know what? Let's move on from them, right? Let's move on from them because we're gonna come back and we're gonna slander them some more. But let's go ahead. Let's move on, right? This isn't even going to be something. But you know what? I'm just gonna say the name, and you know what? Just come up with one word to describe the next thing that I'm gonna say. Shane Steichen.
Home run.
I like it. Josh, what about you?
Best coach in the division.
That's 4 words, sir.
This Louisiana education is killing me right now. Jesus Christ.
5. That's 5 words.
All right, it's just 5. That's 5. Harish, what about you?
Say it all the time. Accountability.
Yeah, I like that. That's the best one you can use. He's a leader.
Underdog.
Yeah, he is an underdog. He don't coach like one though.
But so here's the great thing about it, right? Shane Steichen, he came in from Philly, right? Now, mind you, there were a few people that said, "Oh boy, we're getting another coordinator from the Eagles," and we had Frank Reich who came over. He came over with Andrew Luck, and all the cards were set and everything looked pretty good. And that first year he went 10-6, and we thought nothing of it. And then we know that it went bad from there. But now you see exactly what he's doing. He has Gardner Minshew under center, and I mean, we're 7-5. And we've had rotating pieces over this last month where we've went 4-0. And I mean, it's just like I think we've won division games in that we've won this division game in that time. I think right now we are what? I think we're 4. No. We're
3-2.
3-2 in the division, right? With the Texans being the last game. And this is a team where even Adam Rank had us at 3 wins for the entire season, and we're more than double that right now. So, I mean, can we just give a few moments to give Shane Steichen his flowers for taking on what seemed like it was going to be like a crazy, it really seemed like it was going to be like a rebuilding year at the to the max. And here we are, like almost in driver's seat of our own destiny. Yeah. And I don't care who goes first, but I think we really need to give Shane Steichen the props that he deserves.
I think we give him his props every week.
We do, but at the same time, it's just like I think we kind of do it in passing, right? Because we're giving him his flowers in like after a win, just saying, "Hey, Shane Steichen was good." He made those adjustments, but it's just looking at the summation of this whole entire season, right? Because Chris Ballard talked about roster mechanics, and then we also had to deal with being told that we're gonna roll with who we have, and we're gonna do X, Y, and Z based on that. And I mean, first week he had to have Deion Jackson going out getting 1 yard per carry, but then he's gone, right? Darrell Baker did bad for like a game or two, and he said, nope, you're benched. We can't do that. And every single time there's been something that's been happening, the way that he adjusts, I think, is probably something that we haven't seen in a very, very long time, right? Because for as great of a coach as Dungy was, he also had Peyton. I think Jim Caldwell was a good coach who also had Peyton, who kind of got the crap end of the stick because of how everything happened towards the end. We know that Pagano, great guy, but just wasn't a good fit. And then we have like Frank Reich. But you see Shane Steichen bringing an energy that we probably haven't had ever. He's also bringing a level of accountability where it doesn't look like, hey, I'm getting paid this much. This is what I'm going to do. And that's it. It's basically like, oh, he was like the second highest paid player on the team and they cut him. Nobody's safe.
Yeah.
Like, I think, and once again, I'm doing this not to necessarily to just go ahead and just keep on doubling down on it. But I think it's just like when we take a real in-depth look at Shane Steichen, it's very promising seeing exactly what he's doing with the pieces that he has. And the fact that you know that if you get 1 or 2 pieces during the offseason, you have a good draft, that this team could potentially just be very, very, very good come next year.
I mean, I can give him his flowers. We can start by not having JT and the stuff that going on in the offseason, the pouting and all that because of a new contract. Stuff with was in there. He cut him a couple weeks ago. That was a tough pill to swallow for the whole fan base and the whole team. Even Zaire Franklin didn't like that. But I mean, Zaire Franklin outplayed him for the past 2 seasons. Like you said, accountability with the cornerbacks and Deion Jackson, who's no longer there. But to have you're not having your running back for four games, and you had a backup running back was like top 2 at one point in rushing. You had an offensive line that's now blocking. I mean, I'm not saying that's his thing, but bringing on Tony. I think he's from Philly. I think Tony
Sperano Jr.
Yeah, I forgot where he's from.
He's from New Jersey.
What team he last came from?
Like Cowboys?
No, it wasn't.
Tony
he wasn't. Tony Sperano Jr. I believe he was either in New York or Philly. I thought.
He's from Boston.
I think he's an assistant somewhere.
No, Giants.
Assistant line coach with the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Bringing him on and them bringing back the offensive line. That's top 5 now. This year, bringing them back to what the standards that we used to seeing years past. I mean, everything is working out with just only 4 receivers. You have, mind you, we had Ashton Dooley get hurt, so you're down on receiver. Just imagine having him in his lineup. Tight end, you don't have tight. Jelani Woods haven't played all year.
Yep,
all year. Guess what you're doing? You got Mallory playing well. You got Granson playing well. He played well Sunday. You had Mo playing well against Bucks. I mean, everybody's stepping up at key moments of the season, and you got to give your coach credit for it. I mean, you had the previous head coach went somewhere else and got fired within 11 games.
Yeah,
but you got this guy here, got the same team, basically the same team with some added pieces, and making these guys play a lot better. We're top 10 in points scored by a team. But you got to give him credit for it. I think we had over 230 something on the season in points scored. You got to give credit to him and Jim Bob Cruder. So I mean, it just shows the guy is doing an excellent job. You said we haven't had this. We haven't really had a young head coach. He's 37 years old. And he's coaching men, coaching guys that have been there already. He's coaching these guys up. He's bringing you see it on the victory speech. You see the energy. You see that he feel like he's a player too. Yeah. And he's relating to him. So I mean, give him credit. I mean, got us playing at 7-5. We got a chance to win more games than we've won since. Our last season.
We won 11 with Rivers, right?
Yeah, that was in 2020.
We won 11. We went 11-5 with Rivers, and then the following year we went 9-8 with Wentz.
Yes.
Okay. So it's been
3 years. So I mean, we can we got a chance to get two. So we got a chance to match what we did in 2021 right now, and we got a chance to get to 2020. So I'm just excited, man, to have him on our side versus somewhere else. It would have been perfect had we got Ben Johnson, but I love Shane Steichen.
No, I honestly, it's just like the way that things are working out now. Shane Steichen was absolutely the right fit. Because honestly, and I think it's also the age kind of factors in because it's a new style of league, right? And we see that there's certain teams that have been able to adapt to it. I don't think Bill Belichick has adapted to it at all. He's still trying to do Bill Belichick things. And for the simple fact that he just continues to do things the way that he's been doing them all along and won't change, lets you know that he is going to continue to just be in his own way. Like, I mean, honestly, if he's not fired within the next the next season or two, I'd be highly surprised.
He might be gone by the end of this season.
This is also very true. This is also very true. But I mean, like I said, it's a new style of league, and some of the newer guys. And I mean, I want to go ahead and also just give flowers to DeMeco, because DeMeco Ryans was somebody that Colts fans wanted, and you see what he's doing out there. We have the same record. But the thing is now it's just like we have a game up over them. And like in years past, we have to play them week 18, and that could potentially be a game where whoever wins ends up winning the division or ends up sneaking in the last spot in the playoffs, depending on how the guys go.
Or win Coach of the Year.
Yeah, or possibly win Coach of the Year, because if we're being honest, having two teams that were, I mean, I think most analysts had the Texans and the Colts at a combined 7 wins this year. For them both to have 7 wins this year, knowing what you have, because I think it's just like the Texans kind of have a similar circumstance, right? Because you have CJ Stroud. They have a couple players here and there that they added, but for the most part, it's just like this is a team that really shouldn't be winning the way they're winning. But CJ Stroud is going out there every week and playing like a boss. And I mean, you have Shane Steichen over here. You lose your starting quarterback, and yet you're still 7-5 with Gardner Minshew under center. Gardner Minshew played on the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think, for 2 years? And I don't think he had 2 wins, or I don't think he had 3 wins in those 2 years.
Yeah, so, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing is, and mind you, we don't have world beaters on the team. I think JT is probably the most visible name that you have outside of Quentin Nelson on that offense. But I mean, to be able to do this and be able to continuously produce, it's absolutely like Coach of the Year worthy. And like I said, if it comes down to him and DeMeco, whichever one wins, depending on how the rest of the season goes, I wouldn't be surprised, nor would I mind. It's just like I think just being able to be in that conversation means that you've done something absolutely right in a situation where you had Jeff Saturday last year and you literally didn't win any more games. I think how many games did Jeff Saturday win last year? 1?
Yeah, 1.
Yeah, he won the first one, right?
Yeah, I think that was the Raiders, I believe. Yeah. Yep. So hats off. Now let's go ahead and just talk about something. Let's go ahead and just talk about something. Wayne said Woods and Ogletree. Yep. And then watch that Week 18 game get flexed into prime time for a playoff spot. I believe that's happened before. We've had it before. Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind. But I mean, either way, it's just like they haven't been paying attention all season, so they shouldn't start paying attention now. So let's just go ahead, yeah. But let's talk about this, right? So Monday night game, Trevor Lawrence gets injured. He ends up, so his O-lineman in the middle of blocking blindly steps on Trevor's foot, twisting his ankle. Trevor goes down, and while his leg is underneath him, a defender goes and falls on top of him, and further causing the leg to bend in a way where it is, very, very awkward.
Yep.
Now, initially he had to be walked off. He wasn't carted off. He walked off, which I don't know why, because, Jacksonville's Jacksonville, eating faces out there. And it like now it's questionable, right? So the Jags go on to lose that game in overtime. So now the Jags are 8-4. So the way that the standings are right now, top 3 teams in the division are Jags at 8-4, Colts 7-5, Texans 7-5. Now, the realistic scenario for how all this happens, right? The scenario that makes this the most real when it comes down to how the teams go ahead and shake out. Colts go 5-0. Texans go 4-1. Jacksonville goes 3-2. But once again, it's the last 5 games of the season, so we don't know how it's going to go. No one gets a high ankle sprain. If Trevor's out for 2 to 3 games, how many games are they able to escape with CJ Beathard under center?
Let me see who they're
I
playing.
know they play the Browns this week, but I don't know after that.
Browns, Ravens, Bucks. They can go 2-1. Or
I don't
1-2. Sorry,
I don't know
1-2.
if they beat the Browns because they have a really good defense.
They might go 1-2.
Ravens is going to be hard with Trevor. But yeah, I could see him beating the Bucks.
Yeah. So they said Trevor was walking with no boot today at the press conference. Will likely miss 1 game. Okay. So likely miss 1 game.
A high ankle sprain is going to linger.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be fully healthy.
It's not about walk. Yeah, you don't generally see guys walking with boots and with high ankle sprains. Do you?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
I mean,
common. I guess it depends.
It depends. It can depend on exactly what's happening because, like I said, it's just like there's no telling exactly what they did afterwards. I mean, if you catch it and you're able to kind of like make sure that it's wrapped up, iced up, you know, you do whatever you need to do early, you know, it could potentially not be a thing. But once again, it's just like we dealt with high ankle sprains with Carson, right?
Yep.
And I think it's just like
True.
it kind of lingered for a few weeks, even though he ended up playing the following week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could be a thing. But like I said, if Trevor misses 1 week, let's just say potentially misses 2 weeks, we have what? Bengals, then Steelers, Falcons. We have Texans last. And who's in between?
I think it's the Raiders, right?
Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders. So what can we realistically see the next 5 games being?
I mean, honestly, who's to say we don't win them all? I mean, the only one that gets me nervous is the Bengals game because, again, I think their backup is fairly good. He's been solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Bengals have a good team, and the Steelers always play as well. But, I mean, I don't see those as, like, we're going to lose. I think it's going to be good games.
Yeah.
I don't think we're blowing anybody out.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, but that's kind of been like our thing, right? Like it's always been like getting these gritty wins, getting these wins where it's just like they're not sexy wins.
Right.
But they look good because of the fact that they close out in spots where they needed to close out.
Yep.
So I mean,
like Grant Stewart said in an interview, I think with James Boyd, we're finishing games where last year or years past we didn't finish, and that was our biggest problem. And that's a big thing because, like, if you don't finish, then you're not going to win games.
Yeah. So Josh Allen says, if the Jags can't, I'd rather the Colts take the division than the Texans. Texans fans deserve to suffer. Okay.
Yikes. Fair enough. Touche.
Listen, okay. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna say they deserve to suffer, but I mean, honestly, I think if the Jags aren't able to close out the way that we would think that they'll be able to, I think that it's very, very realistic that we could absolutely end up taking a division. It's not a slide to the Texans, But I just think with the way that this team is set up right now, we absolutely can go and just, I mean, I think it's very fair to say that we could potentially run the table. I don't like the way that we play the Steelers because for some reason when we play the Steelers, we crap the bed. However, I don't think that happens with Steichen because I think Steichen is going to be like, listen, get your head out of your ass and let's do this.
And it's also probably going to be against Mitch Trubisky. And I would hate to lose to Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, this is also very true. So then moving on, and like I said, we're going to get out of here. I don't know where Josh is, but he'll be back. Colts versus Bengals predictions. Now, we saw on Monday Night Football that this was supposed to be Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence, the number one pick from 2020 going against the number one pick from 2021. And it didn't end up being that. It ended up being the top pick from 2021, what most hailed as generational talent, against Jake Browning. And it wasn't what we expected. Like, let's be honest. It wasn't what we expected at all.
I did.
You expected Jake Browning to throw all over the Jags defense?
But overall, the overall thing of it, scheme of it, I expected the Bengals to win because Jags fans been on a high horse. I mean, it's probably in their trap game because they overlooked that guy. They overlooked Jake.
Yeah.
And Jake played. This is the first game he won since he's been in the league. So they overlooked that game, and he showed them why they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, breaking news out of the Jaguars stratosphere. So apparently, a former Jaguars employee is accused of stealing more than $22 million from the team.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, damn. Yeah, I see that now. Wow.
Yeah. So you know what? We got the news of Al-Qadim Muhammad getting a 6-game suspension. However, I believe that somebody in the Jaguars organization stealing $22 million from the team probably is a lot worse. Probably
just
is a lot
slightly,
worse.
just a little bit.
Yeah. They said, "Don't sleep on Browning. The Bengals are not fooling me. The Bengals clone Joe Burrow." Fair. That's fair enough. And by the way, please make sure that you tune in to Josh Allen on AFC South Fan Battle so he can go ahead and explain his love for everything Houston rap. But but yeah. So with that being said, right, let's do our Colts versus Bengals predictions. All right, and I'll start with you, Austin. What are going to be the keys to look for, and what do you see the score being with the winner being, or Colts or Bengals at the end of the game?
I think the keys to winning is getting pressure on Jake Browning, because I don't think the Jaguars got much pressure on him. So, and our front seven has been playing really well, so I think that won't be a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
So on defense, getting pressure, I feel like that's always a good thing that I say. Like I always say that. But get in a run game on offense that we didn't have against the Titans. I feel like that would help Gardner. Hopefully Zach Moss has a bounce back game.
Yeah.
And I think we do win this game. I'm going to go 27-24.
Okay. Jack stole money from me when I had to sit through all those years. I had season tickets and they sucked. Hey, I mean, I get it. And, all right, Harish, what about you?
Oh, this is tough. How many points did they just score? They scored 34 points. I don't know what's going on with the Jags defense. They're not that good. That defense is pretty atrocious. With that being said, I agree with Austin. You got to be able to get pressure on Jake Browning, make him uncomfortable. That's the type of quarterback you don't want to just kind of sit in the pocket because he will kind of eat you alive, which he did. I feel like this is a low-scoring game. I'm thinking 21-17 Colts.
21-17. Okay. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I'm feeling the same as Austin and Harish. I don't see it's been a big two-score game with us. It could be something close, maybe 2017 Colts.
Okay. I think honestly, I think the defense is going to be surprisingly good. I think having Grover back is going to be a big deal. And then also knowing that we'll be able to kind of move the ball, I'm going to say a little bit more freely. I think Zach Moss will be back to form this week. I know that, once again, going against division opponent, it looks a little bit different. But, I mean, going against the Bengals, you know what to expect. We know we're not going against Joe Burrow, so you know that they're not going to be able to prepare the way that, somebody who knows us is going to prepare. So I'm going to say we're going to end up taking this game 28-17. All right. So, yeah.
Cool.
So with that being said, we are going to get out of here. But, fellas, let's tell the people where they can see you on social media and where Titans fans can go leave their Mayo tainted tears. Starting with you, Austin.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Cookie Austin 2.
Okay. All right, and then we have Josh. What about you?
You can find me on X as well at Official Josh Senior.
All right, Harish.
Yeah, I'll never call it that. You can find me on Twitter at the Uncle Gandhi. And of course, Thursday nights, 8:30 p.m. Central. Tomorrow we actually have an early show. Another big guest for us. Very excited about Chad Hastings, orangebloods.com.
Nice.
We'll be on our show tomorrow night, so we're really excited about that. We will be live tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central. Normally, though, we'll be live 8:30 p.m. Central Thursday nights.
All right, and you can find me at CJ Colts fan here every Tuesday. Make sure we're tuning in 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, and yeah. So make sure that you're tuning in. We will see you next week. If you see a Titans fan, just know that they're sad, but don't engage because they might be rabid. So with that being said, have a great week, everybody. Have a great weekend. And as always,